And we're back. Hello, welcome to a new edition of the Right Wing Populist Podcast. I am the Right Wing Populist. So, sorry for the bit of a break. The news has been so depressing lately. I just haven't wanted to record a podcast. But we're back. I should, be back to uploading relatively regularly. But wow, the news has just sucked these last couple of weeks, huh? We got this ridiculous war. Gas prices are going crazy. Everything's going crazy. We got Mark Levin being accused of having a micropene. Just like a crazy couple of weeks in politics, especially if you're on the right. So, I want to discuss everything, really mostly the Iran conflict, the war. The war that we didn't get congressional approval for. That's great. So, I want to talk about the war and why I think what Trump is doing is just such a mistake politically. Why he needs to get an off ramp. But before we get into it all, I need you to do something for me, folks. It's so simple, it's so easy. A child could do it, a Democrat could do it. Let's not go that far. I need you to subscribe, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, please subscribe. And if you are listening on the YouTubes, like and comment as well. It helps a great deal with the algorithm. I so greatly, greatly appreciate it. Also, shout out to Lisa. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I missed our little coffee date this morning. But man, I overslept and I needed to record a podcast. But I'll get you later this week, I think. Maybe not. Who knows? I like you, Lisa, but I was at the gym late last night, and then I barely got any sleep. I needed to sleep in a little bit before work and this podcast. Shout out to Lisa, because I know you'll probably be listening, and I'll get you later this week. So yes, the war in Iran. So it's been a couple of weeks since the war was launched. Shout out to, I guess, our actual president, Bibi Netanyahu, because it seems like, the United States does whatever the hell Israel wants us to do. It's so crazy. There was no, relationship in world history that's comparable to the ridiculous relationship we have between Israel and the United States. It's like we do whatever the hell they want. It's like a simp. It's like a simp relationship. You know how you have a guy who's simping over a girl? And he'll do whatever the hell she wants, just so he can get maybe 5 seconds of affection from her. It's insane. Or a guy who gets walked over by his girl. It's bro, have some self-respect. The United States, we have to have some self-respect. Israel is this little tiny country with no great natural resources. Okay, it's in the Middle East, which is not exactly the most stable region in the world. Gee, I wonder why. And it's not in our interest to be so involved in the Middle East anymore. We already get most of our, our natural gas, oil. We're self-sufficient in the United States. We get it all from our country. The only interest I think we really have in the Middle East at this point is just stability. But unfortunately, because of Israel, because of Iran, that region is not stable. And the reason why I say Israel is because, let's be honest, folks, Israel doesn't want the Middle East to be stable because an unstable Middle East benefits Israel. Because Israel is a very tiny country population-wise. However, they want to be the hegemony of the region. And the only way a small country can be at the hegemony of the region, the dominant force of the region, is if all of its neighbors, which are much bigger, if they're unstable. That's why, basically Israel wants all its neighbors to be like Syria or Libya. Countries that are in disarray and civil war are broken apart because that benefits them because they're such a tiny country. That's the reality, folks, and that's what Israel really wants with Iran. And this is the key point regarding the war between Israel, the United States, and Iran, is the United States' interests, our interests, are not totally aligned with Israel's interests. We want Iran not to get a nuclear weapon, and you can understand why we don't want Iran to get nuclear. We don't want any countries getting nuclear weapons. We're against nuclear proliferation as a policy as the United States. We literally want frankly, we don't want any countries to have nuclear weapons except us. That's what's in our interests. Israel, yes, they don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon, but really Israel wants the country broken apart. And they want it in disarray. Okay, and as I said earlier, the reason why they want it in disarray is because they want to be the hegemonic power of the region. Iran is the biggest force against that. And Israel doesn't even really want regime change. I mean, I think Israel would take regime change if the new regime that was put in place was pro-Israel, pro-the United States. I think Israel would take that. But really what Israel wants is that country to not be a functioning country going forward. That's what Israel wants. But that's not what we want. At least that's what we shouldn't want. What we should want is Iran to be a stable country, but we want, at the very least, a regime in place that's not going to try to get nuclear weapons. Right? That's what's in our interests. But the reality was this war wasn't in our interests. Okay, it wasn't. We could have negotiated a deal. We could have negotiated a deal with Iran similar to the JCPOA, Obama's nuclear deal, but we could have improved it. There were problems with Obama's deal. There were sunset provisions that weren't good. There were sort of loopholes when it came to checking nuclear facilities in Iran, which made it easy for Iran to perhaps stall and be able to hide maybe certain advancements that could have been made in terms of getting a bomb when we had our inspectors come in. There were problems with the JCPOA. We gave them a bunch of money. It was their money, but we gave them a lot. There were problems with the deal. We could have made a better version of the deal. I mean, Trump pulled us out back in, I think, 2018, during his first term. And he could have negotiated a better deal, and we were negotiating, but it's clear to me we weren't negotiating in good faith because the terms kept changing during the negotiation. Iran already said they were fine with not developing a nuclear weapon, but the terms kept changing. Then all of a sudden the United States was saying, well, no more ballistic weapons. Well, Iran was never going to give up their ballistic weapons because that leaves them defenseless. They need to have ballistic weapons, especially with Israel always wanting to frickin', just like get in a fight with them. It'd be like a wife who always gets beat up by her husband giving up like a gun or her knife. It's like, no, she needs that for self-protection. She's living with someone who's crazy. She needs to have protection. Same thing with Iran. They need to have protection versus this crazy country, Israel. I'm not saying Iran's a great country. Okay, I'm not saying that. But you have to understand the dynamics at play here. So Iran was never going to give up their ballistic weapons. But that was one of the demands Israel was putting on our negotiators, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, these crazy Zionist people. It's so crazy that we had two staunch Zionists negotiating on behalf of the United States. People who aren't even officially in the government were negotiating for the United States in these ridiculous talks between us and Iran. Like, Steve Witkoff is a huge Zionist, Jared Kushner is a huge Zionist, and that's fine. But the problem with being a huge Zionist is, if you really care about Israel, our interests aren't aligned with Israel in this situation specifically. This war is not in our interest as the United States, and it's certainly not in our interest if you're a Republican or a conservative or you're on the right. Definitely not in our interest, because politically this is destroying the right. There's just no question about it. Look at all the infighting that's been happening over these last couple of weeks between Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, versus Ben Shapiro, Mike Levin, the Israel Firsters. You have America First, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, even Piers Morgan, who's British, but he's been on the right side of this. Robert Barnes, Richard Barish, Jack Posobiec, I think. These people who are America Firsters, they've been at war with the Israel Firsters. Again, Ben Shapiro, Josh Hammer, the Ben Shapiro wannabe, Mark Levin, Micro Levin, folks, Micro Levin. It's great. And Micro Mark. They've been at war with each other these last couple of weeks. And part of the reason is because Trump has not set any clear goals at this point. Originally, Trump called for the Iranian people to, take back their country, I guess, when Trump first struck Iran. But that hasn't happened. And we're just now, Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. I'm so sick of hearing about the Straits. It's ridiculous. I hear more about the I'm more angry at the Straits than the gay guys do. That was a bad joke. I'm not even going to go there. Let's not go there. I probably should edit that out, but I won't because I'm lazy. But I'm so sick of hearing about the Straits of Hormuz. The Straits of Hormuz, the Straits. Are we sure the Straits of Hormuz are even straight? They're very curvy. It's sort of ridiculous, but whatever. But Trump's messaging has been so bad. 1 second Trump saying, the war is almost over, but it's also just beginning. It's over, but it's beginning. It's won, but we're still winning. We're not losing, but we haven't won yet. But the war is over, but it's just beginning. It's like crazy. It's like a guy who's trying to manipulate, and he's doing this to manipulate the stock market. It's like a guy trying to manipulate a girl he's dating who doesn't really want to commit, so he keeps saying he's going to do things in the future, but he never actually intends to do it. It's like, yeah, babe, we'll go to Hawaii. No problem. He never goes to Hawaii. One of those things. The war is over, but it's just beginning, and no ground troops, but we're sending thousands of troops over to the Middle East. Make America great again. It's like, oh, wow. We are so cooked. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, this whole war has made Nick Fuentes look prescient. This little gay, twink, half Hispanic dude. He's been warning about war with Iran for years at this point, saying that we didn't even have a plan, Trump didn't have a plan. And he was right. Does Trump know what the fuck he's doing? What is he It's just clear to me that Trump is saying whatever he can to keep oil prices down, to keep the stock market afloat. It's so incompetent. It's like, this is not the guy I voted for. Okay. Like, what is this shit? Like, what do you mean? And then he'll talk about his vice president. JD, he wasn't for the war, but in another sense, he was more for the war than me. It's like, what? You can't say that. That is a contradictory statement. Like, what is this? And look, I want to be clear. I still support the president overall. But this war is just such a clusterfuck. Okay, like, it's out of control. You have Israel bombing gas fields, energy plants. That's just going to hurt energy costs even more. Even though we don't want them doing it, they're doing it anyway because Israel is like our boss, apparently. This whole thing has been a disaster. And again, it's destroying the right. You have Megyn Kelly, the beautiful Megyn Kelly, the gorgeous Megyn Kelly, saying that Mark Levin has a small penis. So, everything's very classy these days. By the way, some dude on Twitter or X, he responded to Mark Levin again, calling him Micro Mark. And then Mark Levin responded by calling the guy like Banana Dave. It's like, banana, that's an insult? You're saying he has a big penis? So that's like the insult? That's a little weird, but, sometimes with these Israel firsters, their brain doesn't always work properly. I don't know why. So the online right is in disarray. And again, politically, it's just that we're going to get the midterm. We are so cooked for the midterms, folks. It is so bad. We are so cooked. The House is just gone. Forget about the House. Democrats are going to get over like 240 seats, I believe, at this point. Forget about the House. And I think the Senate is even at play. I still think Republicans will probably keep the Senate just because the Senate map is way more favorable to us than the Democrats. But oh my God, dude, we are so cooked. The fact that states like Texas, Iowa, Ohio, other states that shouldn't be close, the fact that these states will be close likely, it's just such a there were more people who voted in the Democrat Texas primary 2 weeks ago than voted in the Republican Texas primary. I want to repeat that. More people voted in the Democrat primary than the Republican primary in Texas, a state that Trump won by 14 points. A state that a Democrat has not won on the state level. It's in the statewide level. No Democrat has won a statewide race in Texas since like 1992. And more people, it was the biggest turnout ever for Democrats in Texas. More people voted in their primary for the Senate than people voted in the Republican primary for Senate. And people are trying to suggest that there's no problem here for Republicans. No, there's a massive fucking problem here. Voters are not happy. And the reason why they're not happy is because if you're Trump, you can't campaign for over a decade about not starting any new stupid wars in the Middle East and then start a stupid war in the Middle East and not expect consequences. Of course there are going to be consequences politically, especially with the economy being as tedious as it is or tenuous. And then you have the raising of the energy costs, the gas prices are going up with already a tenuous economy. Yeah, folks are going to be pissed. And then the right can't get their shit together, the online right, the pundit right, because you had so many people who backed Trump over his America First policies. Again, people like Tucker Carlson, Robert Barnes, etc. And they feel betrayed. And then you have the Israel Firsters, the neocons who love it, Hugh Hewitt, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, these idiots. So they're at war with each other because, they don't agree on Israel. They don't agree with this war in Iran. So everything has just gotten to shit. It's so depressing. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to take away the good things the president has done, like closing the border, like extending his tax cuts, like ending ridiculous DEI programs. He's done some good stuff still. But this war is just a fucking disaster, folks. And I just can't support it. And he needs to take an off-ramp. Now, what should the off-ramp be? I don't know. We're kind of cooked at this point. There's not much of an off-ramp I think you can take without it looking like a massive embarrassment for the United States. Because remember, folks, even if we leave Iran, that doesn't mean Iran's going to not continue attacking our bases. I mean, Iran is not in this conflict. They have agency. They can continue to attack our bases, to attack our allies, to attack Israel. So I see people saying, well, we can just leave. Well, yeah, we can, but that doesn't mean Iran's going to stop retaliating against us. They can continue to retaliate. They can keep the straits closed. Iran has no incentive to stop now because they need to create a deterrent. They have to make it clear going forward to the United States and Israel that if you attack us, there are severe consequences. So there's no incentive for Iran to quit now. You see what I'm saying? So this whole thing, I don't even know what Trump can do at this point. I don't want the war to continue, but I don't even know how you can stop it without not severely embarrassing the United States, at least. So we'll see what happens. It's depressing, folks. I'm not happy about it. But, I guess we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. We should be back some point this week. Who the hell knows? I'm so depressed. We'll see. But we should be back later this week, folks. So, again, please subscribe whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, it's available. And, again, if you're listening on the YouTubes, like and comment helps a great deal. I would so greatly, because I'm so depressed lately. So, please subscribe. It would mean so much to me. Anyway, folks, we should be back later this week. I hope you have a great, beautiful day. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you fall in love, or if you are in love but the person sucks, I hope you fall out in love. Anyway, folks, have a great day. Bye-bye.